So we just got a new trailer for Armored Core 6 the other day, and it's packed full of details. So let's take a look, examine some of what's within, and see how it all fits into the development of the series. Going by this opening dialogue, it's pretty clear that instead of being a mercenary always working for the highest bidder, you were sent here with a pretty specific mission. The orbital drop deployment here reminds me a bit of Armored Core 2, fitting since that's the only other Armored Core game to take place on another planet. Now I'm going to stop it here, because this is interesting. We hear that you're an augmented human. Things like this have always been in Armored Core since the Human Plus program in the first game, but they're basically always immoral and inhumane programs designed to create living weapons. So the fact that you are one of them by default is intriguing, and I can't wait to see how it plays out. We see a bit of the boost mechanics here. First, typical Armored Core flight boosting, and then we also see that the quick boost mechanic from the later generations returns. And of course, there's this giant walking thing reminiscent of an arms fort. These next couple shots really do suggest that they are going for a larger sense of scale to the battles than were ever possible in previous games, and especially in the classic Armored Core games. This is kind of interesting since it seems to be either a jump pad or a super jump. And during this fight we'll see our first new weapon, some kind of back-mounted energy shield that can seemingly deploy in a single frame. And here's the first time we get to see the classic laser blade in use in this game. And here we see a scanning pulse similar to the scouting system from the 5th generation games. And then we see the quad-legged AC use a hover mode similar to how flight worked in the 5th generation games. And lastly, we see this IC fire its vertical missiles while still shooting the Gatling gun on the same side. During this fight, you can see that a quick boost still allows you to perform a rapid turn at the very end of it. And then we see the AC perform an attack with its legs. I really don't want this to be the return of the tackle mechanic from the 5th generation games. Next we see a tank AC do similar, barreling through an MT before drifting around a corner and demonstrating that you can use your back slots to hold additional weapons and swap between them. Here we see an AC using a flamethrower. Its opponent, meanwhile, is using this really cool shock whip. But you can see the mech is in an AC, so sadly this might not be usable for us. After that worm, we can see the EMP from the first trailer in action, though we don't actually see the outcome. A bit more in the way of story teasers here, a great close-up, and then another boss mech. The rotating laser blade here, though, that's already my favorite weapon. The fact that your call sign is Raven is a great reference to the early AC games. While this duel here is cool, it's hard to tell if the enemy with the laser blade is a proper AC or if it's some similarly sized boss enemy. But what we can tell is that it does seem to have a very bulky booster pack that I would assume isn't part of its core, and there is this awesome finishing move where it impales the AC on its laser blade. Here's a small bit where we can see an AC do a spinning double slice with its laser blade, which is another new maneuver. This heavy equipment reminds me of the Legion Pulse from 5th generation AC. It seems to be a boss fight, but I have to wonder if you can use it for yourself. I am a bit disappointed to see a cannon shot while jumping here. The fact that you had to brace to use them in classic Armored Core always did add more variety to gameplay and builds. And we have a release date, August 25th. And lastly, some collector's editions. While I'm not a fan of these on principle, I would be lying if I said that this being Armored Core didn't tempt me into some of the things here. And that's it for my review, but if you haven't already, I really suggest watching the trailer at half speed like I did when I was making the list. It's a great way to catch a lot of details, like weapons, that I didn't feel the need to go into. So what do you think? Is there something in here that I missed? What in this trailer do you find most interesting? Let me know in the comments below. Until next time, feed the fire.